Yo, what's up, ESO community? Coming back with another Werewolf PvP build for update 35. So there's been a switch in the metas between the best class for werewolves. Right now it is Templar. Templar has a new passive that carries over, which is the Burning Light passive, which can get up to like 10k a tick on people, 11k, depending how much damage you have to bump that up or how long you've been hitting somebody for. Now, Sork is still great. It's probably better in the sustain category, but when we're talking about all-out damage output, it will be the Templar this patch. All classes can work for this build. Pretty much, it works for all of them, but it will perform best on a Templar and a Sorcerer type spec. Now, this build, I did kind of go through a few different sets like Mara's Ball, which is kind of nerfed, not using that, that's out of the window. I was looking at Pariah, that's a completely different set, didn't really care for it, but I wanted to try something different. So lately I've been playing more of a healthier type werewolves with more health and less stamina, but I kind of decided to kind of go back to the traditional route, 64 stamina attributes, which honestly definitely increases my damage because I'm no longer using Oaken Soul. It's just not good in PvP in my opinion on a werewolf. Y'all might disagree, but that's fine. But I am using the Shapeshifter's chain, which I find to just be the best mythic for werewolf all around. I still know that people disagree with that as well, but each to their own their opinions when it comes to selective choice of mythics and monster sets and stuff like that. But I'm going to go ahead and show y'all what I have cooked up and put together. So let's go ahead and get into the first sets and everything like that. So, and the food, potions, enchantments, and all around everything, you know what I mean. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the foods that I use is just Bewitcher Skulls, normal tri-stats, bone broth, but try to get Bewitcher Skulls or the normal tri-stats. You really can't go wrong with those. Those are going to increase your max stats, which in return, every 1,000 stamina equals almost approximately 100 weapon damage, so the more stamina you have, the more damage you will do. Keep that in mind. Now, potions, I always recommend tri-stats into tech pots and immovables. There is some speed potions you can run to and probably some other different variety of potions, but my main go-to is tri-pots and immovables and the tech pots. I do have some invis pots as well, which is kind of a little unique thing you can do. Is pop an invis pot and run away, or you could pop it and be right behind somebody and kill them, which I have done before. It is possible. Now, besides that, this is pretty much all you would really run. Now you can run certain recovery foods, but honestly, I just stick to the max stat ones. Alright, so the first set is going to be Hulking Draugr. Yes, I am running this set again. After doing a few testing yesterday and a few duels, I was noticing that I was doing a lot of damage and I was able to keep my attacks going and flowing and just keep pressuring somebody. Now, for all-out damage, hulking is not the best. However, like I just mentioned, the ability to spam and keep your rotation going, roll dodging and blocking, hulking is great. It's perfect because it just gives you all that max stam, and that max stam will boost up your overall damage. But there's alternatives you can run. You can use Titanborn, Deadlands, Spriggans, pretty much any damage set if you want, but keep in mind you're not going to have as big of a stam pool. Now, I run a Nernhold, a Nernhold, right? And then my offhand's going to be a Sharpen. However, I don't really use my dual wield for Werewolf on this particular spec. However, I can. But the reason I don't is because I want more penetration for tankier targets, so I kind of swap to my two-hander. Now, when you are in Werewolf form, your Mundus Stone, not your Mundus Stone, But your enchantments, you see that 348 is gonna be more, because when you go into werewolf, for some reason your stats get inflated when you're in werewolf form. So keep that in mind. That 348 will probably turn into like 500 on an enchant proc for some reason. I think that's because, like I said, everything doubles when you're in werewolf. It's like a weird math calculation. If you're on PC, you can probably get the actual number down. But yeah, test is this. Anyway, but weapon damage enchant and a sharpen 2-hander. However, look, it doesn't matter on the type of weapon. It doesn't matter if it's an axe, mace, or anything like that, because none of that matters in your base form. I mean, all that matters in base form, but in werewolf form it does not. None of that carries over. Only thing that carry over is trait and enchantments. Now, the second set is going to be Wretched. Oh, I know, right? It's the only really set werewolves really use for sustain. You can use Eternal Vigor, but I think it's worse right now, so health recovery is not great. However, if health recovery was still a good thing, I would be using Vigor over Wretched in most scenarios. But however, since HP recovery was nerfed a while back, it's not really the set to use. Now, there is alternative sets you can run, like Stunes with Hulking. You could run another max resource set. You can run Hammer Plasm. You can run Shackle Breaker. You can run pretty much anything, but to keep it simple and easy, I would run this. This is going to give you probably the most resources, recoveries to work with. Everything is going to be divines. This is going to increase your Mana Stone enchantment. So overall, that's going to increase your damage. Our defense, our recoveries, depending on your Mundus. The shoulder is a crag piece. This is going to increase your overall penetration, which you will need as a werewolf. And it's also going to be 5 heavy, 1 light, 1 medium for the Undaunted passives. And you also will get like 1 light armor piece will give you a little more pen, 1 medium armor piece will give you a little more damage. Heavy is going to give you more resistances, recover like health, max health, and all that stuff. I recommend to do trice out and everything. I still have this max Stam piece on my bracers, but it doesn't really matter that much. But keep in mind, just trying to do trice out on everything. Now, the Mythic I recommend. This is the best part of the build. This is something that makes the build most powerful. Is the Shapeshifter's Chain. Now, this reduces the cost of your transformation ultimate by 15% and werewolf abilities, and then you get like a little multi-tri-stat enchantment thing going on there. So the fact that your abilities cost 15% less is huge. Now let's say if you were to take this off and move into a run like Sithis, you'll be fine, but you will gas out a little bit quicker. Shapeshifter Chain is going to allow you to kind of out-sustain your opponents in the long run. Keep in mind. And since it gives you max resources, it's really beneficial on this build because, like I said, more stamina will also increase your damage as well. And spam as well. So that is the main part of the build. Now, I recommend Robust for your jewelry. All of your jewelry for this particular build. You can go infused or triune or whatever you like, but I have Robust for now because I'm trying to increase my maximum Stam potential, or at least the ability to roll, dodge, block, and cast more abilities, which I find more efficient as a werewolf, which you can combination more or do more combos, which really will help in your overall damage output. So Robust on everything, but triune and all the other traits are also applicable, or whatever you want. So, well, I recommend Robust though. Now, let's go ahead and get into the Templar skills. I'm not really doesn't really matter too much on your Templar abilities. I understand jabs were nerfed and crap like that, so keep in mind, yeah, it's like, but I have jabs here just because, why not? So I run Restoring Focus. This is going to give me my armor buffs, and it also restores stamina And it also restores health, which also goes off your max health, so I guess the more HP you have, this will be bumped up more. But for now, it's fine. Race Against Time, I use this pretty much for every build except my Warden. But the reason I run this is because I don't want to be snared, and being snared sucks, and I don't want to be slow either. So always have this on your human form, in my opinion. Run Breath of Life. This will heal you for a decent amount. Keep in mind that's something that's like a burst heal, kind of like a werewolf heal in a way. But yeah, this will keep you alive as well. You can synergize that with Vigor, and yeah. Jabs is an AoE area of attack, kind of direct damage in a way. And it also will proc Weapon Brutality, which you'll need to keep up to keep your buffs going. And then you got Vigor. Vigor also gives you minor resolve, which will increase your resistance a little bit more, which is not bad. I think that's a unique thing they could have done with Vigor. That's pretty nice. Now, on the back bar, I have Dizzy Swing, Extended Ritual. Extended Ritual just pretty much just puts an AoE on the ground, which we can cleanse, and it will heal you as well. Repentance, when something dies, and it also gives you recoveries. It would basically restore stamina and health out of nowhere. I have Executioner and Rally. I probably think I should just change these, but this is what I got on there for now. But yeah, you'll kind of get what those do. And then obviously I have the Pack Leader. Now I wanted to talk about the passive again. I mentioned it earlier in the video, or at least in the beginning, is the Burning Light passive. So when you go into Werewolf, this is going to increase. So this is the passive that carries over. So when you deal damage, you generate a stack of Burning Light for 3 seconds. After reaching 4 stacks, you deal how much magic damage to your target, and this effect can stack once every half second. That's pretty OP. And then you got the Balanced Warrior, which is a 6% damage, and it's also physical and spell resistance increase will make it a little bit more tanky, which is nice. You also have Restoring Spirit, which will reduce the cost of your ultimates, stamina, health, magic abilities. So that's will synergize as well with your Shapeshifter chain, which will be 20% on this particular build. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Alright, so now let's go ahead and go with the race I am the Dark Elf for my maximum damage. You could run Imperial Orc, that's the other 2 races I recommend for this particular build. But yeah, the reason to go Dark Elf is for the most damage I could possibly get on a Werewolf spec. But for maximum sustain, Imperial would be your recommended race. Now, what we're gonna do, Mundus Stone that I am using, by the way, guys, is the Warrior, but you can also run the Lover Mundus, which is another great option as well for maximum pen. I only run that against tankier opponents. You feel like if you're not doing enough damage, just go swap out the Warrior for the Lover, and that will definitely increase your overall max pen against targets. So we're gonna go ahead and fully buff ourselves real quick. That you will see everything. So this is pretty much my stats. Now keep in mind, everything will get increased with potions, CP, and my Wretched proc. So everything kind of looks low on the recovery side, but on the damage, but everything seems like that, right? But wait till you actually use it. 64 into Stam, and the Warrior, like I mentioned. Okay. So we're going to go into the champion points real quick. This is something that we need to go over. You have to run Foresight on any Werewolf build in PvP. I mean, okay, you don't have to, but I highly recommend. This will increase your survivability by a lot. It's the fact that you pop potion and everything, and every single heal literally costs 75% less. Okay, for 6 seconds. That is very powerful. So keep in mind, that's something that you need to do. You need to have on your CP. Now I run Mastered Arms. This will increase my damage by 6%. Daily Aim another 6%. That's 12%. And then run Wrathful Strikes. However, I was running Physical Weapon Expert, which is something because the Werewolf did get a 14% heavy attacking nerf. But I was like, you know, heavy attacks, light attacks are nice, but then I was like, I need to kind of increase my attack ability damage, which I put Wrathful Strikes, which definitely increased my overall attacks from my abilities. But sometimes I will swap on and off between that and Weapon Expert. You can also run Force of Nature, Exploiter, Focus Mending, whatever you find that you need. You can also run more defensive CP to make yourself a little bit tankier. It's all up to you. That's pretty much it for the blue tree. Red tree, I run Pain's Refuge, Sustain by Suffering, Peace of Mind, Peace of Recovery, Tankiness. I run Balanced Vitality. This is going to increase my max HP. I don't want my health to be too low. I got about 30k with Shapeshifter procced. So keep in mind, you want to kind of have a decent amount of health. So anything about 30 and above is nice. Relentlessness, you can run that. Refreshing Stride, you can use this when you're running away. And then Celerity for your max speed. But this is what I have for now. Unfortified for more armor. It's all up to you. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into the werewolf skills. I have Brutal Pounce. So the more you pounce, the more your weapon damage is going to increase. And then the more your then you're going to put Execute on them as well, which can also get them at times. Hersene's Fortitude. This is going to be the strongest heal out of the two. The other one is going to technically just bump up your weapon damage or your damage done. And now it's going to be cheaper, but the heal is weak. So, and then it puts a debuff on you. So keep in mind, it's not worth it. If your health is too low, do not run Rage. Just run Fortitude. You run this with the Shapeshifter chain, and your heal is pretty cheap as well. Deafening Roar. This is going to basically put a debuff, which is like 6k pen, which is not bad. And then you got Howl of Agony. So Howl of Agony is going to increase your direct attacks from your house, which is really beneficial. You'll need this to spam a lot and keep your pressure. This is your main damage spammable. And then you got Claws of Anguish, which is going to be follow-up attack, which is going to keep a constant dot pressure. And if you hit him with Claws of Anguish this patch, they kind of changed it. Your Minor Defile is always going to be proccing as long as your claw dot is on the target. And then obviously run Pack Leader because it gives you minor courage and you're 10% tankier and your form just lasts longer. So it makes the most sense to run it on this build. Now, let's go ahead and go over to a test dummy because I need to show you how this works because some people might be kind of confused. Oh, you got all that max Stam, but it doesn't seem like it's that beneficial in most situations. Oh, you'll find out. So, we buff up, pop potion, whatever. And the fact that you can keep attacking and spamming your abilities is what I was trying to really get at with you guys. So, and then, remember, these are tanky targets, so what you can do is you can stack up your pounce as well. And then you can also get the Lover Mundus, like I was mentioning, and that would do more damage to things as well. The ability to spam is the part I was really good. So, yeah. Let's buff up real quick. Let's get to full those screw sources, stacks, whatever. Yeah, 6.8. Yeah. In fact, you can basically scale the crap out of your damage by just making your pounds. And you can see that my Stam bar still hasn't ran out yet. Right? So that's really the beneficial of it. But anyway, that's pretty much going to be it for the build video, guys. I hope you all enjoy this good max Stam werewolf build for the patch. But anyway, hope y'all enjoy the Templar werewolf. Alright, peace.